Hello, thank you very much for tuning in to this week's section of reads. This should be on the YouTube channel James13 Wicca. The information on the decks and the dice will be below. Other than that, if you would like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching. Let's go ahead and get into your selection. Hello, Cancer. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Cancer? Okay, this is going to be interesting. Bittersweet. Bittersweet. You want something to return. Okay. Okay. There's something... Whatever the situation is, you've already been disappointed by it. So that's not happening. If this reading is going to hit, it's already a part of the situation. Something happened... Something happened and you didn't really care for it. The Five of Cups is in the past where not everything was lost, but there was a change here. You didn't care for it. Might have been a message, might have been a heads up about something to come. Could have been that. Didn't like the information. Nope. Didn't like it. Not to spoil the reading, but this might end up going back the other direction. It might go back to where you prefer it to be anyway. Something was supposed to change. Is it going to change is a great question. I feel like whatever it is, I'm not convinced it's going to really... I don't know. Something is changing here. Something is up. Something is up. You're trying to deal with it the best you can. This is one of those things where it's clearly going to happen and you want to be included in the situation. It's heavy. It is heavy. It's heavy. Definitely been hiccups and everything. I have more connection with it. I have more... There's more value for you. And I feel like this is why you're working with it. I feel like you already addressed that. Like, if I want this to at least go my way as much as possible, I got to work with it. If I fight against it or if I try to ignore it, it's just going to end up in a place that I didn't want it to. And then once it's there, I might be kind of out of luck about it. So I feel like you are doing your best to just work with this situation. I feel like I say this a lot lately, and I hate that this is a term I keep saying. Shows that I've gotten this in my own readings for myself, from other people. Liking it wasn't a factor. It's just what's happening. Liking it wasn't a factor. And I feel like this might be how you're looking at this. Like, how you feel about it, you liking it or not, that didn't seem to make a difference here. It's just happening, and it's kind of like, I just need to work with it to keep as much value in the situation for myself as I can. And you're working with it. You also know that there's some variables here that seem to be these floating question marks. Like, what way is that going to go? What way is this going to go? Is this a permanent situation? Or is this temporary? This reminds me of something where somebody is saying, well, we're going to make this permanent change. But then when you look back in the history, these same people have said they were going to make permanent changes before, and those permanent changes at best last 4 years, if you follow me. So it's kind of like you saw somebody saying, oh, I'm getting married again, and this is the last time, and they're on their 5th marriage, which, no shade, you got to do what you got to do. But it's kind of like you're looking back at the same person, like every time they got married, they thought it was going to be the last time. They thought that was going to be it. that's why they got married. They thought that was the relationship for them, but now they're going on their 5th one, and you're like, well, we'll see. Hopefully things work out for them, but it's kind of like past events are showing me some other possibility here, so we'll see. I don't think you're pointing anything out to anybody. I feel like it might be in the back of your head, like, I've heard that before, which is fine. I feel like, especially if you're feeling that probably would go more to your benefit to kind of like address it internally and probably keep it internally, or if you're going to share it with a therapist or somebody you know will not further your opinion, because that could have some backlash to it that you don't need nor want. Yeah, because there's a problem. There's something, whatever this change was, more information is coming up. There might be an edit with this. Things are not working. Something else is changing here. A part of the situation, a part of the foundation is rebalancing. Okay. So this is a give-take card, the 6 of Pentacles. It's an Earth card. But it's one of those cards where when the facts start showing up, this card builds from what the foundation is built from. And as this situation moves forward and is researched deeper, if the foundation is seeming to be faulty, it either is A, fixed, or B, like the plan has to be corrected. Kind of like, wait a minute, we were going to build here. There's some problems with this foundation. Can it be fixed? If it can, how much work does that take, aka money? Versus like, okay, do we have other options? Do we actually still want this location, or should we start looking at something else because the foundation is not as expected? And there's questions with the foundation here, with this balance. Something's balancing out, and I'm getting, with the discovering the truth, like there's more information coming forward. They're like, ooh, we thought this was more stable than it is. Something isn't looking right. Something's smelling a little bit fishy. Are you going to know about this? I'm assuming you will, because I'm getting like you get the Hanged Man in the future. Things get stuck. Partially. You know some things, not everything. You're going to know that there's kind of some hiccups going on here. You're going to realize that something isn't quite right. Something seems to be creating a possible delay. Possible delay here. Be careful of this moment. They're saying be very, very careful. This is not a moment to celebrate. This is a moment to step back and kind of like work with the situation. Work with the situation. It's not like, remember that from the beginning when I said this isn't a situation about what you want or like. Sorry, this is the energy I've got. Whatever you're dealing with, work with its goal. It will serve you in the long run. Work with it. Try to find out what's really going on here. Try to help where you can, because I feel like that will serve you in the long run to like help the situation kind of thrive the way it wants to. Something's going to get stuck. Try to be helpful. I don't know how to explain this. It's kind of like, could you use that marriage thing again? They're getting married for the 5th time. Okay, they are. There's some trouble in paradise, but they're still going to go forward with things. All right. Stay involved and like, all right, well, maybe I can help here. Is this getting a little stressful? Maybe I can help do this. Maybe I can be a part of that. You know what I mean? You need somebody to help find a bakery. Maybe the bakery you were going to go with doesn't seem like it's your first choice anymore. Maybe I can research and ask around what other people have used, and maybe I could find something that way. You're looking for a different venue. There's some other question marks going on. And maybe I just lending some help to try to solve the problems. Because whatever's happening here is happening here. You pulling back, you like trying to take off some of the load. If you decide, if you want to, you clearly don't have to do anything you don't want to. But if you decide to help in that respect, you pull back the pressure on some of these little things. And when you pull back the pressure on the little things, the real problem is going to get more highlighted. And I don't think that's why you're going to be doing this, but it's kind of like when, okay, I'll take care of this for you. I'll take care of that for you. I'll take some of this off your plate. then they can address what the real problem is, and that's more important here. That's not for you to address, but they're saying by you coming forward and kind of like helping relieve the stress from the minimal things that you can kind of like, I can help you with that. I have this friend, or maybe, you know, this family friend or family relative, whatever, this relative, whatever, family relative, you know what I mean? We can bond together and we can help make this happen for you. We can research that for you. That pulls back the energy from all these little things that are distracting the situation, and it lets that person focus on what the real issue is, which is for the best here. Because when that happens, it's going to happen sooner or later. It just seems like it'll go more smoothly if we can pull back some of the stress, some of the pressure. History will have its way. History will have its way. So it's kind of like, this might be like, okay, they're going on their 5th marriage. They've done this 4 other times. And they're like, wait a minute. Before the 5th one happens, this is starting to feel really familiar. It seems like we're already starting to have some trouble in paradise. It's kind of like, you know, getting married to somebody doesn't get rid of your problems. In my opinion, if it's going to do anything, it's going to make them more complicated, in my opinion. I don't feel like getting married to somebody gets rid of any problems. I really don't. It's almost in the same line of like back in the 70s, 80s, maybe 60s, people had the mentality, or at least some people had the mentality, is your marriage not doing that well? That's okay. Have a kid. That'll make things better. That's not true. That's not true. No. That makes things more complicated, in my opinion. Yeah. So whatever's going on here, by you pulling back these minimal things and taking these minimal things off this person's plate, it gives them time to really look at the actual issue. They can't distract themselves, or they don't really want to anyway. But like, they're not distracted with these little things. They have time to look at the major issue, and then history will have its way. They'll deal with things that need to be dealt with, that are going to be dealt with in the long run anyway. It just seems like the sooner the better. How is this? Okay. History coming in. What does that mean? Stress. Yeah, the 10 of Wands twice. The card, and it comes up on the dice, and then the Strength card, and then this unknown territory. The unknown territory literally could be dealing with something before it gets too far. Like, you know, I'm going to use the marriage thing again. It doesn't have to be that. It's just an analogy. They've gone through this 4 other times, and they got all the way through the marriage and then divorced, and they're like, I don't know how this happened. This might be in the, like, as they're still getting ready to get married, they're still in the engagement phase. Like, everything is starting to show up way beforehand. Kind of like, you know what? Before I get married the 5th time, I'm already seeing the cracks in the porcelain here. Maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe this isn't the solution for me. Maybe the situation is already kind of starting to cool down, and I don't have to do this. Maybe this is somebody going into that unknown territory, acknowledging, like, you know what? Getting married to somebody doesn't solve problems. That doesn't solve problems. And if it does anything, it could make them more complicated. I don't know. I don't know. If I get burned in the comments for it, I guess I do. But I am personally of the mentality is marriage doesn't solve problems. Marriage makes things more complicated. If you have a very solid relationship, you can go far. You can go great places with a marriage. But if you're going in damaged, it's not going to fix. It doesn't fix things like, oh, we said the vows and now everything's beautiful. I don't think so. That's just my opinion. But if I get burned in the comments, I get burned in the comments. This is somebody figuring it out ahead of time. There's a chance they could figure it out before they make this choice. Miracles are possible here. What's that other card? Watching the clouds. This situation is going to solve itself. There's only so much you can do. Secondary things like getting certain things done, helping out with this, helping out with that, to pull the attention away from the minimal things so they can focus on the major things. But not, I don't see you in like the middle of the arena here talking it out, hashing it out. This is something, whoever you're dealing with, they have to figure it out themselves. And you might be surprised that this actually ends up a lot better. Like, it's kind of like I was really unhappy with where I thought this was going, where I was told this is going, and maybe it's not going there. And it's like, you're not going to take any happiness from somebody else not getting what they want, but at the same time, this is not the outcome you wanted, so it's kind of like, it's not a bad outcome for you, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want to celebrate somebody else's misfortune, but it's like, at the same time, it's like, I'm in two boats at once. It's like, I didn't want that to happen, so I'm kind of happy it's not happening, but also, I don't want to, like, celebrate their misfortune. I'm happy it's not happening, but I don't want to celebrate their misfortune. And I feel like I'm stuck in this weird quandary, like, I'm happy that this isn't going to happen, but I'm not happy that they're sad. I'm not happy that this made them unhappy. That doesn't make me feel good. But at the same time, this was a change I didn't think was a good idea anyway, so I feel like I have to balance this, and I have to be very careful, and I have to pull my energy back. If this situation happens and it follows this energy, the way I'm feeling it, I'm a water sign, but I'm Pisces. Cancer is a water sign. I feel like we do this, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but where we kind of let things slip, and sometimes we give our opinion, sometimes, especially when we get comfortable, kind of like, I think it's for the best that didn't happen. Be aware that you might say that. Try not to say that. A lot of times, not only does that not go well, but sometimes people remember that for years to come, and it could come back and backlash multiple times. I'm just saying that as a water sign. If that's not something you have to worry about, then that's not something you have to worry about. But I'm getting, like, be careful about sharing your opinion. Be careful. Because I keep getting, like, you're not happy that they're sad. That's not... But also, it's kind of like, yeah, but I am happy that it's not happening because I didn't think it was a good thing. Be careful. Just be careful. Just be careful. That's all I'm saying. Just be careful. Be aware of what you're thinking and how you're feeling. Maybe dismiss yourself from a conversation if you think it's like could possibly go there, or if you're like, well, maybe I'll just give them some space, you know what I mean, or do something with them where let's watch a show, let's go do something, watch a game or something where we're concentrating on something else, so we're not conversing, so I don't say anything that maybe they don't want to hear. Be careful, just be aware of that, because I do get that there's a high level of stress. Whoever you're dealing with, to them it feels like they're digging themselves out of something. Emotionally, at the very least, they're digging themselves out of something. And there's some stress and sadness here with the Knight of Swords. But they are moving into a better light. You very, very well are probably right that this is better that this didn't happen. Doesn't mean they're in a place to accept that. Doesn't mean that they're going to accept it even later. It's one of those things they have to go on their own healing journey. They have to come to terms with that in their own way. You bringing that forward at any point could just backlash against you and repetitively it come back a couple times. You don't need it. You don't need it. I'm just saying be careful. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Just be careful. And if you're like, I don't do that, good. Then that's cool. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. All right. I think we're set. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.